Coming up today on Public Eye News, 2 are dead after shooting on the Central Michigan University campus, and Uper Olympian Nick Baumgartner returns home from South Korea.
Elijah Clorty will take us through this weekend's weather forecast, and Samantha Carter gives us a preview of the opening night of round of hockey playoffs for the NMU Wildcats. Hi, I'm Mason Wallace.
And I'm Charlie Edwards. Welcome to the Friday edition of Public Eye News. Two people were murdered today at Central Michigan University in Mount Pleasant when a gunman opened fire in a residence hall. The university posted an alert on social media around 9:30 a.m. about gunshots being fired at Campbell Hall. The suspect is 19-year-old James Eric Davis Jr., and he has been described as being armed and dangerous. CMU says the suspect is still at large, and police are encouraging students to take shelter. People are still on the lookout for 36-year-old John Robert Rowland of Scandia Township, who was last seen on Friday, February 23rd, driving a friend's maroon Chevrolet Astrovan. After Marquette County Search and Rescue conducted a search on Thursday, March 1st in the Forestville area, the Michigan State Police have been asked to assist with a helicopter search today.
The three-time Olympian Nick Baumgartner has returned home after participating in the Winter Olympics. Baumgartner came in fourth and says his time in South Korea will always hold a special place in his heart. Baumgartner's sponsor Ponzi sent his mother and his son to watch him compete on the world stage. After performing, Baumgartner said, quote, I am having the time of my life. It was unbelievable. The medal would have been great, but we still have next time, end quote. And the Michigan Democratic Attorney General candidate Dana Nessel is wrapping up her trip to the Upper Peninsula this week. Nessel graduated from the University of Michigan and was a Wayne State Law graduate that has over 25 years of legal experience. She plans to address consumer protection, protection of seniors, and the environment if she is elected. Nessel said, quote, I want to make certain we have a strong office that's functioning up here in the UP in Marquette, end quote.
Thanks to a legislation signed by Governor Rick Snyder, driver responsibility fees will be eliminated earlier than expected. A new program will assist citizens who have been entered into payment plans, as well as provide for possible license reinstatement. The new legislation will eliminate driver responsibility fees on October 1st, 2018, exactly 1 year earlier than when they were originally supposed to be eliminated. The Michigan Senate has approved a $175 million infusion into the state's roads, a 7% boost over current spending. The votes come as drivers face potholes from this winter's freeze-thaw cycle. The money will be split among the state, counties, and cities and villages. Governor Rick Snyder is expected to sign this bill. And after the break, we'll be back with your national and international news. Stay tuned.
He gripped my arm.
And he started to massage my shoulders.
In a forceful way.
Stories with uncanny similarities.
He came back in a robe, just like an open robe.
If you were in his movie, you had a shot at an Academy Award.
He used his non-disclosure agreements.
It was a show of power.
I think a lot of people turned a blind eye.
And control.
I think his career is over. But, you know, who knows? Anything can happen.
Tonight at 9 after Off the Record.
Welcome back. After President Donald Trump's stunning shift on gun policy, the gun legislation in Congress came to a screeching halt. The Democratic proposal included having expanded background checks and even a ban on assault weapons. The executive director of the NRA, Chris Cox, said Trump and Pence both want safe schools, mental health reform, and to keep guns away from dangerous people. Cox also stated that Trump and Pence support the Second Amendment, support strong due process, and do not want gun control. And areas across the United States are experiencing severe weather, especially on the East Coast. DeMarco Morgan has more from Long Island, New York.
Overnight, heavy snowfall buried much of western Pennsylvania and New York. Part of a major weekend storm bearing down on nearly the entire East Coast. Some cars could be seen in banks off the side of the highway. High winds have already taken down power lines in Michigan, knocking out electricity to tens of thousands. Trees also toppled into homes as far south as Maryland. But the brunt of the storm will strike Massachusetts. Flooding is the main concern there, and it could rival all-time records. Storm surges up to 4 feet are possible.
If you live in an area that's been told to evacuate, we strongly encourage you to do so.
Governor Charlie Baker stressed the dangerous storm could be stronger than the bomb cyclone that slammed New England and caused record flooding in early January. He also signed an order to activate 200 members of the National Guard to help prepare.
I can't stress this enough. It's a heck of a storm, and people need to take it seriously.
You can already see the water has started to spill over from this canal here in Freeport, flooding this parking lot where I'm standing and some of the nearby roads. We could see up to 60-mile-per-hour wind gusts before it's all said and done, which could mean severe flooding in this area and along the coast. DeMarco Morgan, CBS News, Freeport, New York.
President Donald Trump has announced that the U.S. will impose punishing tariffs on steel and aluminum imports, which will more than likely raise the cost on those products. While it's good news for U.S. producers, it isn't for companies that utilize the materials, and the move has prompted red flags from companies ranging from beer distributors to air conditioner manufacturers. The American International Automobile Dealers Association claims the move would result in a spike in prices. President Donald Trump and the NRA both said a meeting between the two went well yesterday. However, there is still some confusion on the president's stance on gun control. Major Garrett reports from the White House.
President Trump gave gun control advocates hope when he said this on Wednesday.
You have to look at the age of 21 for certain types of weapons. Take the guns first, go through due process second.
But last night, the NRA said Mr. Trump wanted the opposite. Following an Oval Office meeting, NRA executive lobbyist Chris Cox tweeted that Mr. Trump and Vice President Pence, quote, support strong due process and don't want gun control. An hour later, Mr. Trump tweeted that the meeting went great.
It destroys our companies and our jobs.
Yesterday, Mr. Trump also made a surprise announcement detailing new tariffs on steel and aluminum imports.
You will have protection for the first time in a long while, and you're going to regrow your industries.
The tariffs, 25% on steel and 10% on aluminum, prompted fears of a costly trade showdown with China and other U.S. trading partners. That sent the Dow plunging more than 400 points. Republicans slammed the move. Nebraska's Ben Sasse said, quote, you'd expect a policy this bad from a leftist administration, not a supposedly Republican one. Senate Finance Committee Chairman Orrin Hatch, a top GOP voice on trade, called it a blunder.
Whoever advised him on this ought to be reprimanded.
President Trump's advisors have been the subject of scrutiny this week. Presidential confidant Hope Hicks announced her resignation, and senior advisor Jared Kushner's business dealings are raising concerns about potential conflicts of interest. During a nostalgic visit to the Department of Homeland Security Chief of Staff John Kelly, the man in charge of keeping the White House in line, jokingly suggested he was cursed.
I did something wrong and God punished me, I guess.
Jazz compositions written by Prince's father are now available. In an album titled Don't Play With Love, the John L. Nelson Project was released on Friday. Prince's sister, Sharon L. Nelson, produced the album, which was recorded at Paisley Park. An inspiration to his son Prince, John Nelson was a prolific jazz musician who died in 2001. And stay with us after the break. We'll have your weather and sports.
Of Ireland is still pretty wild. It's a special kind of place. It's just good for the soul. Almost seems otherworldly. What could get better than this?
Sunday night at 6:30 after PBS NewsHour Weekend.
Welcome back. I'm Elijah Clordy, and the time is approximately 10 after the hour as we look at our NMU Skycam. It is absolutely gorgeous out there. The snow is finally melting off as we enter into our March. And taking a look at our current conditions. It is partly cloudy skies with a temperature of 31 degrees and winds north-northeast at 9 miles an hour with a barometric pressure of 30.48 inches and rising. Going into tonight, expect partly cloudy skies with a low of 18 degrees, winds southeast at 7 miles an hour. And going into tomorrow, partly cloudy skies with a high of 38 degrees and winds southeast at 7 miles an hour. Looking across the UP, We're all over the board with temperatures 30 degrees and sunny up in Sault Ste. Marie, Manistee, 35 degrees, 39 degrees in Escanaba and Menominee, 41 degrees. Over on the western half, it is 41 degrees in Iron Mountain. Ironwood, the high point, 44 degrees, and 35 degrees in Houghton. In our hometown of Marquette, Michigan, it is 31 degrees. Taking a look ahead. Sunday, expect a high of 37 degrees, a low of 27 degrees, and cloudy. Monday, a high of 34 degrees, a low of 28 degrees, and cloudy. And Tuesday, expect a high of 32 degrees, a low of 20 degrees, and some snow. Well, the weather is heating up a little bit, and there might be a story about hockey heating up as well.
Yeah, hopefully. We'll see after this weekend. The Northern Michigan University men's ice hockey team will host Alabama Huntsville tonight for the first round of Western Collegiate Hockey Association playoffs. The number 2 seeded Wildcats will host a playoff series for the first time since the 2011-2012 season. NMU posted a home record of 13-2 in the regular season. However, one of those losses were at the hands of the Chargers. Therefore, everyone will be on the edge of their seats to see how the Wildcats fare in this weekend's best-of-3 quarterfinal series. If NMU is able to win this weekend's series, they will host a WCHA semifinal series next weekend. Doors will open at 6 p.m. tonight and tomorrow. The first 1,000 fans through the doors each night will receive a free white Wildcat t-shirt. The team is encouraging everyone in attendance to wear white to support the Cats tonight. Puck drop is 7:07 tonight and Saturday, as well as Sunday if necessary at the Barrie Event Center. Another thriller for the Big Ten tournament quarterfinals at Madison Square Garden concluded this afternoon with a 63-60 victory for Michigan State over Wisconsin. Michigan State is ranked as the top seed in the Big Ten, but struggled to close out the game against the 9th-seeded Badgers. The game consisted of 6 lead changes and finally a 3-pointer from junior guard Matt McQuaid with 1:27 left to play that pushed MSU to a 5-point lead. Ethan Happ led the Badgers with 22 points, 4 rebounds, and 4 assists, but couldn't top the Spartans star forward Miles Bridges, who put up 20 points, 9 rebounds, and 2 assists. The Spartans' next obstacle will be topping the winner of the Michigan-Nebraska game in the Big Ten semifinals. Currently, Michigan is up 53-39. And the NFL Combine is underway with young future stars pushing themselves to the limit. Wide receiver John Franklin III from Florida Atlantic ran a 4.19 second 40-yard dash at the training facilities days before the NFL Combine. NFL experts are stating that Franklin could be the fastest to ever run the 40-yard dash. Another player to watch is superstar quarterback Lamar Jackson from Louisville. Jackson is a dual-threat quarterback who holds Louisville's record for yards in a season at 1,571 yards. Well, we've got lots of record-breaking young athletes out there hoping for their spot in the NFL, but I hear you have some young students that are hoping to get out of their exams.
It's definitely an interesting school district. Promising students they don't have to take their finals is one way to get them to pass a bond proposal. A February 20th email stated any students at Warren Central High School in Mississippi who voted to pass the bond measure to renovate the district would be exempt from their finals. The principal said the email was sent in error, but that didn't stop retired educator Diana M. Finger from filing a complaint for an investigation. And that's all the time we have today on Public Eye News, but join us again on Monday. Thanks for watching.
The preceding program was produced in studios located in the Edgar L. Hardin Learning Resources Center by WNMU-TV, Northern Michigan University Public Television.